here. Wind blew like crazy on Saturday, and yesterday there was no wind at all. Must not have been in Kansas yesterday. So we're still getting warmer than normal temperatures. And we actually have rain in the forecast this week, which would be nice. We need it. No hard news to drive today's markets. Rumors out of Europe on the replacement of the Greek government. What's may or may not come from that. Rumors that Italy may be forced to replace its government as early as tomorrow. So we'll be subject to news spikes. Bad conditions in the EU. Moving away from a solution will support the financials. Moving towards a solution will support the indexes. So we'll be subject to news whipsaws. I imagine rumors more so than hard news. Greece actually bought themselves a little time by replacing Papandreou's, I'm sure I'm butchering that, government. So I'd look basically for a trading range today with sellers 130.20 and higher. Kind of picking up this area right here. Been very, very hard to maintain and hold that level. And if you just look at this structure right here, the buyer's basically below 130, and we have a tail here in the overnight that was rejected, so we had our first buy zone in the 01 to 05. But we got a pretty fair shot of getting down to this level depending on what happens with the news. So we put the sell 15 to 19 to basically lean against resistance up here. And we had the 01 to 05 as the buy zone, leaning against the bottom of these value areas. It could in this tail right here. Best buy might be 29 to 01. We'll just have to see what happens. There's nothing going on right now in the news. Nobody's really tipping their hands. Here we sit. Now, if we've got a real strong market and the E-mini is going to fail in this 50 area and start down, we may have to engage the market in this 5 to 9 area. So a lot of it's just going to depend on what happens in the E-mini. And the E-mini will be swung by the news out of Europe. Most of the commentary out of Europe over the weekend is that the EU is hurtling towards dissolution. Again, the system protects itself first, or dies trying, and then they come back in and figure out a solution. So you have a very, very committed group of technocrats and bureaucrats that are making very nice livings right now based on what's happening right now, and they'll fight pretty hard for that. And you'll see what happens, that they get to an impasse and then the government leaves, but the new government will come in the pigs' cases, promising new cutbacks in spending, etc., to get the next round of money from Europe, Northern Europe, and then it's pretty much has been business as usual in Greece. They're still spending $1.50 for every dollar they bring in tax revenues, and that is going to be the problem, and it's not an easy one to solve. The more austere the budget, the less the spending. The economy contracts. That leads to lower tax revenues, and it just kind of feeds on itself. Okay, if John Popick were commenting on the market, he'd say we're in a downtrend. We're looking for a place to sell it. First place up would be leaning against this very, very clean break in the market at 16. Hence our 15 to 19. Now, again, we're tied to news, and that's based on a trading range idea, etc. And we'd like to see something in pain number 3 to help support that idea too. I think the buy area is a little bit lower, but you can see we got this volume from 6 to 8. and that might give us a 5 to 9 buy. It's just hard to say on these first probes down. So I think resistance is a little bit better defined this morning starting out than where support is. When in doubt, expand your ranges and then let the market come to you. Don't get in a big hurry. And we'll have plenty of time today, and it may take the day session of the E-mini before this sorts out. Okay, the E-mini found sellers above 1250 once again. In the overnight session, buyers below 35. I think the best buyers are in that 25 to 30 area, getting started. But again, you tell me what the rumors are coming out of Europe, and we'll figure out a trading strategy for them. So my guess is that we will get spikes that'll take us to the outer bands of support or resistance on rumors, and especially subject to those starting around noon, 1 o'clock Eastern, as the foreign press releases their news stories to keep their readers buying their papers. So we have a high volume number here at 49. We've got this low volume number up here at 55. And this is where I think resistance is. Probably best support's way down here in this 15 to 20 area, but that was last week. We got this pretty clean break here at 27. We've got the overnight session low at 32, so 27 to 32 will be where we start. We might end up at 15 to 20. I mean, I just don't know. I don't see anything I don't see a long-term solution coming out of the EU, barring kicking the pigs nations out and turning them loose. But like I said, the Brussels really likes not paying taxes, being chauffeured around, living pretty large. So they'll fight like Dickens to maintain those positions, which require them controlling Ireland, Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Greece. So trading range, try to work the edges. Might take a couple of 3 trades to meet your business plan. It is a Monday morning, and sometimes those are tough. Italian Greek government gonna hold would be supportive. Italian Greek government's falling would not be supportive. A solution at hand would be supportive for the E-mini. Can't get an agreement would not. People actually rioting in the streets, burning and breaking things would not be supportive. So we are subject to news swings. G20, once again, G7 told the EU to get their act together. Here's our first sell band. Probably a piece of news here. This long bar is important because something happened in there, and they retrace and they come back to here, but they don't get above that high. So you're in a short right now in the 46 area, give or take a little bit. First stop would be 42.50, then 39.40. And watching the 50 lot play right here is going to be where the market eventually resolves itself. And we'll see if they support the market this morning. If it sells, they probably support. And if it rallies, they can go either way on that. So we're going to work a trading range. We're going to see what happens. Not much to talk about this morning. Any questions? Good morning, Bill and Ellen and everybody else. I love Alex's quote up here. The old saying, nothing is confirmed until it's denied. There's a lot of truth in that. Okay, a lot of us wonder, we get into trading based on the idea that we read one book and we know how to do it. And Eric sent me a video of an artisan out of Brooklyn who makes knives. And I'll put the link into the room. It really does show you what is involved in mastering a craft. Now, being from Brooklyn and a male, his language is a little crude or a little rough, so know that before you go into it. He's not shy about the F-bomb. It's not, it's just there. It's not pervasive. So if it offends you, don't go listen to that. But it's a very, very interesting story of his journey to mastery. And I think the best thing that came out of it was that once you've mastered your skill, that's where the artistry or the genius or you will start to shine through. First, you have to master it, have to know everything about it. Then you can really, really start to expand your horizons. So for those of you that are new to trading, you're going to work within a fairly narrow confine. You do have to learn how to do this. There's no getting around that. You can buy access to great information. You can have fabulous trading ideas, but sometimes head and shoulders patterns have 2, 3, 4, 5 right shoulders before they break. Sometimes volatility is just enough to knock you out of the market, and you still would have been right if you'd been pressing enough to know that you expanded your stop by this. But I think people wonder when I talk in terms of tuition costs being lower and the rest of it. This really, really is something you have to learn how to do. So I'll put that link into the room, and hopefully you all will get something out of it too. Yeah, this morning, forced tick rebuild has been required to cure up some volume problems and issues. We also have a couple of X's in the profile displays that will be, Peter will fix those this morning. He's aware of them. Daylight savings time caused that. And so that should be taken care of too. It makes you appreciate the letters when you see those little X's up there. It's kind of like, what the heck? Anyway, save this video for later. I think you'll enjoy it. And it really does address what is required to master something. Later.